Vice President Kamala Harris has declared her candidacy for the presidency, and really quickly she's become the presumptive Democratic nominee. It's really putting into high gear what she really needs to do in terms of her next steps, which is pick her vice president. A bunch of names have been floating around for some of Harris's picks, and time is rapidly approaching where she needs to make the decision. So we're going to go through some of the pros and cons of those potential picks. There are quite a few considerations that she should take into account when she's picking a running mate.
One of them has to do with the battleground states: Pennsylvania, Arizona, Michigan, just to name a few. And those are states where some of the rumored VP picks are from, which could give Democrats a boost come November. One of the hopefuls also hails from North Carolina, which Democrats are trying to put in play this year.
One of Harris's potential picks is Josh Shapiro. He's the governor of Pennsylvania. He's the governor of a swing state, one of the states that Democrats really need to hold on to this year if they want to maintain the presidency. President Joe Biden has a lot of ties to Pennsylvania. With him off the ticket, it sort of cuts it off a bit. Having Shapiro could sort of help with those Pennsylvania ties again. Josh Shapiro is pretty outspoken in terms of supporting Israel, and that could help with some voters, but it also could potentially hurt some of those who did have concerns with the Biden-Harris administration and how they were dealing with Palestinians. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear sort of laid out the path for how a Democrat can win in a Republican state. He successfully ran for his second term in 2023, really leaning into abortion rights. With abortion being front and center for his campaign, that could also help boost Harris, who has really been outspoken about abortion rights.
And we, who believe in reproductive freedom, will stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Kentucky's been a long-time red state, and with Beshear on the ticket, it's unlikely that Democrats will flip that. Arizona Senator Mark Kelly has a really interesting background. He's an astronaut. He's a Navy veteran. In Kelly's previous Senate campaigns, he really leaned into immigration messaging, which is typically a sore spot for Democrats. Having a running mate who knows how to talk about immigration, who is from a border state, can be helpful for Harris. If he is Harris's running mate and they are successful, that means that Democratic Governor Katie Hobbs will be able to appoint a new Democratic senator, but there would have to be a special election in 2026. North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper is a longtime force in North Carolina politics, and Democrats are really hoping to put North Carolina into play this year, so having him on the ticket could certainly help on that front. Cooper is also one of the oldest potential vice presidential picks. At age 67, of course, that isn't too old, especially with the conversation that we've been having for months about Biden and Trump, but compared to some of the others, he might not provide that sort of contrast, especially with Vance being a young pick himself. That might be a sort of contrast that they want to keep in mind. Governor Gretchen Whitmer is another swing state governor of Michigan. She won re-election in 2022, and during that time, the state legislature flipped, so Democrats gained control of both chambers. And since then, she's really leaned into all the policy positions that she's been able to pass. And she is the co-chair of the Harris campaign. But Whitmer has also said that she's not interested in being VP.
The clock is ticking for Harris to make her pick. The DNC will be completing its roll call by August 7th, and she's planning to choose her running mate by then.
History will remember Joe Biden as not just a quitter, which he is, but one of the worst presidents of the United States of America. But my friends, Kamala Harris is a million times worse, and everybody knows it.
Vance wasn't really a nationally known entity, so he's really trying to establish himself and introduce himself to the national electorate. Yes, he has a week or two head start, but they're sort of on a equal playing field. So they're really going to be focusing on making that contrast with whoever she picks.